All right, how's it going, everyone? This is probably the best, last chance I'll get to film this. This flower's kind of starting to fade on me, and I figured I should probably capture that before it happens. So this is my probably my favorite Bulbophyllum that I have in my collection. It's Bulbophyllum mastersianum. This is just the coolest flower to me. So it kind of looks like almost like a daisy in a way, but each one of these is actually an individual flower. And then you can see they radiate out from the central point here. So it's a quote unquote umbel type. Ceropetalum is the old name for these guys, this type of flower where it's a circular flower. So this one is from the Malaccas and Borneo. It grows in forests up to about 500 meters or 1,600 feet. It is a warm to hot grower. So 16 degrees Celsius to about 30 and 60 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit or so. I'm sure in Borneo it pushes 90. Humidity in its native range ranges from about 60 to 80% or higher year round. So quite humid. These guys, they don't really like to dry out. They don't like to be sopping wet, but they don't like to dry out, especially because you can see these roots are incredibly fine. I'll basically water this plant every day. I don't necessarily water the moss mound every day, but I'll go around and water these exposed roots anywhere that they are, just to make sure they don't dry out. Because if they dry out, they will die back. It's not, even in my tent at 80% humidity, I've had a few roots die back on me, which could just be part of age, but ever since I started doing that, I haven't really had any die back on me. I was saying that this is probably the last flower spike, but that sure looks like a spike coming out right down there. So maybe this won't be the last one. So this is classified as a spring bloomer, or at least that's what you see online. So this plant started flowering for me in September. It's now the end of January, and this is the last spike. And this one's actually quite a bit smaller than some of the biggest ones during the peak of the bloom. But yeah, so since September, this is the 17th flower spike I've gotten off this plant, which is just bananas. One of these bulbs here, one of these two, put out 5 spikes alone. It's pretty crazy. You can actually, if I pull this up, you can see all the dead spikes just all over in there. And almost every bulb flowered, which in and of itself is pretty impressive. So these guys, culture-wise, it's in my tent, so it's getting pretty consistent conditions of about 20 temperatures of 20 to 25 degrees Celsius during the winter, and somewhere between 20-25 at night and 30 degrees Celsius during the day in the summer. So I don't keep these guys in super crazy high light. It definitely can handle pretty high light levels, but I keep it using the Photone app on my phone and testing the LED lights that I have. Where I keep it is about 150 ppfd to 200 ppfd, which, how reliable and accurate is that? I don't know, but it gives me a benchmark to base, how much light that is compared to other plants around it. And so, I keep other plants that need this kind of light level, and obviously if it's flowering, it's doing well, and that's fine for it. It's also got kind of the more of that yellowish kind of weird green that Bulbophyllums have. A lot of them do anyway, except for Lavene, which that one's like incredibly weird purpley blue-green, but beside the point. So I fertilize this guy about 75 to 150 parts per million total fertilizer when I do fertilize it. They also, a lot of Bulbophyllums are lithophytic in the wild, so a little bit more calcium never really seems to hurt them. So I give them a little bit of calcium nitrate periodically, or some CalMag. And then periodically I give them a good shot of Epsom salts too, as a little bit of a fertilizer boost. Maybe once a month if I remember. Might be more like every 6 weeks or so. So probably the best way to grow these guys, obviously I have mine mounted, and you obviously can grow them mounted, that's fine. Just make sure you grow them horizontal. As you can see, I actually have a little wire hanger set up, so that way if I want to, I can hang it on the back wall and it stays horizontal, which I don't. I just grow it in a tub like this. But I would probably grow this in a basket or a pot, and I'd use some bark, some sponge rock or perlite, and charcoal mix, probably 50% that and then 50% sphagnum moss, and then I usually throw like a good pinch of chicken grit, some oyster shell in there, just to simulate some of that higher levels of calcium and to also buffer the pH on the sphagnum moss. Overall, this has been a fantastic plant for me. I've had it for a little over a year now. When I first got it, it actually was set back quite a bit. I got it during the winter, and when I ordered it, the weather looked good and everything, and then they shipped, and then there was like a polar vortex, kind of actually like what we just went through, came through during the shipping, and so it was in pretty rough shape when it came in. I think there was a couple other bulbs down here, and so it was like maybe 4 or 5 bulbs when I got it, and most of the leaves fell off, and thankfully it had a growth starting when it came in, so that kind of saved the plant, because I think I could have lost it then. But once it got over that and it kind of got its feet back under it and started growing again, it obviously took off quite well. So it's not a super huge plant, maybe, I don't know, 7-8 inch leaves and bulb together, so nothing too big. This is, like I said, it's coming out of a flowering cycle, and there's 3 new growths on it currently, which I'm sure once that flower drops and it actually gets into growing mode again, it'll explode and probably double in size. So it's quite a floriferous plant, so if you ever get a chance, I would say pick it up.